have another insight for you that's going to, maximize what you get out of practicing, and it's going to stop not getting anything out of practicing. Sometimes we're actually practicing our way away from what we want. So, and that's the same insight now, but I have a different angle on it that's super important. And the insight is practice what you want to learn, right? And because the brain is super stupid when it comes to guitar practicing, it's actually going to practice what it doesn't want to learn. That's why we have weird stuff like, hey man, just push for speed, see if you can't do it fast, and then clean up your technique afterwards. That is the stupidest piece of advice I have ever heard. Because if you practice like pushing for speed, and I'm going to get to the insight here, if you practice and you push for speed, then you're basically developing and practicing and repeating patterns that you don't want to learn over and over again, thousands of times. And you have to unlearn that stuff in order to clean it up, right? So that's just going up the hill and down again, and then realizing that you should have stayed up there, right? It's crazy. It's so much work. So instead, we want to practice what we want to learn. And in the previous video, I talked about another aspect of that principle. But this second aspect here is simply to say, okay, playing very fast, if you want to play something very fast, if you want to play a two-note, if you want to learn that, two-note per string, and you want to do that with alternate picking, then what you want to do is you want to say, how do I play that when I play it fast? When I get to the end result, how am I performing that technique? Well, first of all, I don't have a lot of time to do a lot of pinch harmonics or vibrato, so I'm definitely not going to go, right? I'm not going to do any of that. It's just playing the note and then on to the next note, right? So I want to be efficient, and I also want to be almost robotic in my movements because I don't have time for anything else, right? So this here needs to be the same pattern all the time. Makes sense, right? Robotic, same all the time. Every single movement is the same all the time. But also, if I want to be effective at it, I can't have a lot of picking depth, right? Because the more, and also I don't need it, because once I play faster, I hit the string with greater speed. And the more speed I hit the string with, the louder the sound is gonna be. If I play slow, and I hit the string in the surface, it's gonna be very silent. But if I speed it up, it's louder. Because there's more speed when I hit the string. So when I get to a high level of speed, I'm going to pick in the surface. Also, it's way easier to not, to do the string shifting. If I'm not digging into the strings all the time, I have to, go down in one string and then out and then over the next, right? It's like jumping from a hole to a hole up, that's going to be harder than just evening out the playing field and then just doing this instead of that, right? And that's what we do when we pick in the surface of the string. And when I say surface, I mean surface. I mean at the level where you almost lose the pick stroke and not hit the string. So if I look at my guitar like that and I look at the pick like that, then I can almost not see the pick, or I can't see the tip of the pick below the string because I'm not picking any deeper than the string itself. That's picking in the surface, and that's tough. That's hard. For somebody who's like me, who was very used to, let's dig in so I make sure that I actually hit the string, right? So I was digging in like that. You need to stop that and go. So now I know that my movement should be robotic, right? And I should pick in the surface of the string. What am I doing? I'm trying to analyze how to practice what I want to learn. If practicing what I want to learn means I need to practice the end result and not just go from a stupid description. I'm sorry to use the word stupid all the time, but that's what comes to my mind, right? Hey, so you want to do alternate picking on two strings, then yeah, you practice, and then you just, go down and up with the pick, and then you do that a lot of times, right? That's the description. Good luck with that stuff, right? Because once you get up, to a certain level of speed, if you're lucky, your brain is going to ease up the picking depth, and it's going to become more and more robotic if you're lucky. Some of us, like me, need more information than just picking up and down and then doing practice, right? We need to actually pick in the surface and maintaining a completely, picking motion that's the same every time, right? That's easy. And then we need to make 0 mistakes. You know, I can't make 0 mistakes. I'm actually trying to pick here. Don't try to pick. Try is the battle cry of wimps. We're going to try, right? Instead, succeed every time. That's practicing. Don't practice a lot of mistakes, because that's what you're going to become good at. And if you can't practice without making mistakes, you're practicing too fast. Of course you are, right? Because why would you make mistakes when you don't have to? What a silly idea. Because, right? Don't do that. That's what we talked about in the last video, right? Right? Don't do that. Just go. Practice what you want to learn. I want to learn to do this fast. So if I stop doing what it is that I want to learn and make a lot of mistakes, then that's what I'm going to become good at, right? So, yeah, we need to use that, right? That is really that is the limiting factor of our guitar practicing. How intelligent are we going about practicing? And as you know by now, it's pretty simple. We just need to see the obvious truths of course I want to practice what I want to become good at, right? So what does that really mean? And then we start digging into that, and then we realize that, oops, I've been doing it all wrong, right? Make sure you do warm-up exercises before you practice, right? Why would you do that? You know, it's a previous video. Why would you do that if there's no straining and stressing to it? See you in the next video.